honestly, I am exhausted. And I wasn't going to come and do this live post my spiritual bath, but I did want to share my experience as I said I would. Wow. I did not want to get out the tub, but I had to because I was falling asleep. I was entering into a deep trance. And I've already mastered the practice of inciting, conjuring up trances when I'm not in warm, comfortable, soothing bath water. So you can only imagine the water just heightened that experience, and I'm sitting there, and mind you, I'm actually in different positions, so I'm going to put some oil on. This is the oil that I was using. It's a separate bottle of it, but I put this in my spiritual bath. Now, mind you, I'm in different positions. I started out just sitting with my legs extended in front of me and sitting upright like I am now. And then I held that position for, I don't know, maybe 7-8 minutes. And then something told me to just pull my legs up to my body, closer to my body. And I did that like a fetal position. And I held that just for a little while, not too long. And then I sat Indian style. And then from Indian style, I'm like, yo, I can lie down. Like, why am I sitting? I can lie down. So that's exactly what I did, y'all. I did this all the way back. Just relax. Not a care in the world. I was like literally lying in my tub, y'all. My head resting on my tub. And I'm like, why haven't I done this sooner? It's like similar to the experience that I felt when I picked up my paintbrush for the first time and I started painting. I'm like, why haven't I done this sooner? Why wait? I'm so happy I did that. And I do have a lot to say about my experience on many different levels. Physically, I felt very relaxed. My muscles were relaxed. I immediately stepped in the water and became one with the water. I felt the graininess of the salt and the crystals on the bottom of my feet, and I didn't hesitate to sit down and allow the water to envelop my body and cover my legs. And what I really appreciate the most about this spiritual bath was I had an intention when I went in there, but I didn't look at it like I was saying before I did the spiritual bath in my video when I was preparing. I didn't look at it as a way to cleanse negative energy necessarily, right? Because I feel like I'm constantly, subconsciously and consciously, clearing myself of negative energy. I do that as a ritual, as a regular practice, daily, throughout the day. But for me, the intention was to set my mind in a forward-thinking position, preparing myself for this next phase that I'm about to enter in, which I know, like I was saying in my previous video on breaking the code and leaving the matrix, I know I'm about to be catapulted. Like, I'm happy. I can feel it happening now, y'all. Part of it, I'm not even gonna front. Part of it is scary. So the spiritual bath gave me a chance to just sit with my emotions. Just sit with them. To sit with the unknown, to sit with the fear, to sit with the anticipation, the excitement, the hope. Knowing that I'm good. There's nothing to worry about. The spiritual bath, on the spiritual level, I feel that the results are lasting. It's not like, okay, you have this experience and then you experience these immediate results and then it's done and over with. I feel like the results are lingering. So of course, while I'm in the tub, I'm having this spiritual, I wouldn't say it's awakening, a deepening in my spirituality, in my space where I am in the universe. It was a deepening. And then as I got ready to end with my spiritual bath, I first of all, like I said, I didn't want to get up. I didn't want it to end. But then I also had to realize that it's going to be ongoing, right? These effects are lingering, and like I can feel it now. And given that I set this precedent and I'm taking this step to take a spiritual bath, this is just going to be one of many. I'm glad that I got a chance to experience this because I know that I am going to continue this. Right? It's just a matter of starting the experience, and I started it. And it's going to continue. And I want to do more. And I realize that the first is just the first, right? It's not the best, I would say. I think that there are better spiritual baths to come. Even more so out in nature. I'm looking forward to those. I'm happy that I chose to do it in the comfort of my own home as opposed to in a public space such as a hotel suite and a spa bath. That is what I initially thought I was going to do, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I chose to do it here. And a few thoughts came up, several thoughts came up as I was doing the spiritual baths, and I let them come. I just accepted them. I didn't want them to come necessarily. Right? I didn't welcome them, but they came, they popped up. But for a very brief moment though. It's like meditation, right? Because I was meditating obviously while I was doing the spiritual bath. But in mindful meditation, right? Outside of a bathtub, there are times where you have interference of these thoughts that pop up in your mind. So I had that. But they were fleeting thoughts. I'm like, oh wow. And I was able to refocus my attention in the present moment. And when I took myself to this trance, nothing mattered. Like I said, I almost forgot that I was sitting in a body of water. And I had to catch myself to not slide too deep into that trance because I don't want to be freaking found on the news saying that, oh, this woman was found lying dead, or shall I say transition, in her bathtub. That would be funny, yo. That would be funny, but no. The water wasn't that deep. Actually, I filled the tub up, I would say 40%. It wasn't even full. It was like 40% full. So it was perfect. The water was hot. It was hot. And I stepped my first foot in and I was like, oh, this is hot. So I added a little bit of cold water to level it out, but it was still perfect. It was hot. It was just like I like it, right? But it was bearable. And then I got in. Like, oh my gosh, I want to go back and do it again. Like, that's how I felt. I did end up using the entire package of salt, bath salt. I think I was trying to be conservative with the idea of only using like 1/3 of it, but I ended up using the entire package. Because I'm like, wow, this is a lot of water. That was more water than what I thought it would be. So in proportion to the water, I wanted to make sure that I had ample ingredients. And that package was like bath salt. I told you guys the ingredients before when I came live talking about the spiritual bath kit that I had just purchased. This was like weeks ago. But it had, yeah, it's a number of ingredients. And funny enough, some of the roses, like the petals, are on my feet. They're stuck to my feet. So when I finished it, actually, I cleaned my tub out. Because I didn't want to have like the remains of the bath just sitting, spiritual bath just sitting there. So I cleaned like the remnants of the earthy materials. I cleaned that out. And then I noticed that my candles were still burning. And I'm like, I don't want to put the candles out. But I do want to save some for later, so I put them out. I put the candles out last before I turned off my bathroom light. So what a time. I also did like other positions too. So besides like after I was like lying down, I had put my feet up. I put my feet up on the wall and they were like elevated, probably like at a 45-degree angle. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I sat there like with my legs parted as if I was about to deliver a baby. It felt so good, y'all. I'm just imagining. I was imagining like myself in different states, right? Like, it was a powerful experience because yes, I got a chance to be pulled into a trance where nothing mattered, right? I wasn't thinking about the past. I wasn't thinking about the present. I wasn't thinking about the future. I was just existing and breathing and just in a trance, like nothing, no thoughts, right? But then there were moments where yes, past, like I said, fleeting thoughts came to my mind, and future thoughts came to my mind as well, thinking about being pregnant and delivering a child. And I can see myself doing that in a bathtub, just like what I set up, the spiritual bath. I'm like, wow. And I thought about dating. And I thought about just my interactions with men on the dating site and how annoying they can be and how beautiful it would be to surrender to a man that is ready and is deserving. So of course, I hold firm to my beliefs, right? My position. I'm not letting up. It's a reason why my heart is guarded. And I know when I purchased these ingredients, right? I purchased this spiritual bath kit from the shaman in Harlem. She took a stone and she rubbed it on my heart chakra and said that she was releasing the blockage in my heart chakra. And I admit, I know like how it's crazy. She went directly to that, no other chakra, but to my heart chakra, and said like, yo, there's a blockage. And I'm like, yo, there is. But honestly, I believe that it's just going to be released in time. No one can release the blockage. I can't release it. A shaman, a spiritual healer can't release it. It's just going to be released in due time, right? And I know when that time will come. Like, you know, right? When you get that feeling, that inkling that it's time and you feel safe to just open your heart and just go with the wind. I'm the right person, but these guys don't measure up. And I've said that recently. I had this exchange with this guy where these men, they don't know how to introduce themselves, and they take offense to the idea. And I'm like, introduce yourself. And they're like, well, tell me your name. No, you tell me, introduce yourself. An introduction is more than just telling me your name. But that thought came up in my mind, and then I brought myself back to the present moment, right? Taking myself away from my thoughts on future and bringing myself back to the present moment and appreciating where I am, appreciating the decisions that I've made, very calculated decisions that I've made in my life. And I'm grateful that I am where I am, and I can see a bright future ahead. So yes, it's a good Saturday for me. It's a good Saturday. I slept well last night, and I woke up this morning. I'm like, wow, I have energy. I woke up with so much energy, but this is not unusual. This is not unusual. I have these moments where I just have like a burst of energy, and I maximize it. I capitalize on it, and I just got up, and it was like 7, and I just went and started cleaning. I guess just the energy I need to set the day. So I don't know what I'm going to do for today. I might just take it easy. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to relax. And I'm trying to figure out, what should I eat? What's a good food to eat after a spiritual bath? Because I went into the spiritual bath on an empty stomach. I have not broken my fast. So I am hungry, but perhaps I could use a nice juice. Yes, I think I'm going to order some juice. Organic juice. Yeah, I thought about a smoothie, but no, I think I'm going to do a juice drink. Like ginger, carrot, and what else did they put in there? It was ginger, carrot, and some other vegetable. But that was good. I had that the other day, so I think I'm going to order that. And I don't know what I want to eat. What should I eat? I'm just feeling so free, yo. So yes, I am in my birthday suit underneath this. I feel comfortable. One thing that came to my mind, though, when I was taking the bath that I wanted but I didn't have was the touch of a man, yo. Like, I wanted that, yo. And it's not, of course, like, it's not that I can't get it, of course, but the energy gotta be right. It has to be complementary to my energy. Did I put some in my hands? Let me put some. But it has to be complementary to my energy. And that's the thing, when a woman has gone through a bit of experiences in her life, especially with the male species, the last thing she want to do is go down a road that is going to take her in a space that doesn't make her feel valued or like a queen. So she will be willing to remain single the rest of her life, even if she has children, which I don't have. I don't know if I want to say thankfully or unthankfully, so maybe both. But the last thing she wanted to do is, open herself up to a man that is going to, not value and appreciate her, right? And that's the trend that you see. These people are programmed, and they're just operating out of a code. That's what I was talking about, breaking away from the code. How do you break the code? Well, you gotta break the routine. break your way of thinking. Step out of your way of thinking. You gotta look at it this way. I'm looking at these remnants. I actually saved some because I wanted to show you guys these stones. But if you know that you have been operating in a certain way, right? And it's not conducive to your health, your progress. Look at that. You gotta break away from that. Step away. That's why I say I felt so good yesterday when I made that transition in my mind. I made that transition in my mind to accept what is and allow myself to be catapulted, right? And to really allow my actions to align with my thoughts, knowing that I'm a revolutionary person. So just do it. Step out on faith. A lot of us we're like playing it safe and we're holding on like, no, I'm not gonna. No. Sometimes you gotta do what it takes, and it's gonna upset a lot of people. But doing something different, breaking away from the code, breaking away from the norm of what everyone else is doing. That's how you leave the matrix. This conversation can go on and on, but that's definitely how you leave the matrix. You gotta step away from what everyone else is doing. And the first step, a lot of times, to spiritual awakening, or deepening, shall I say, is removing yourself from people. People want to fast from food. They want to exercise, but they don't fast from the toxicity of this toxic. I'm talking about it's not helpful for your progress going forward. The way that society conditions people, the way that society socializes people to be, it's definitely not helpful. People want to follow what everyone else is doing, but unfortunately, in an ideal world, that will be helpful. You look around and see what is everyone else doing, and then you kind of go with the flow. But no, what everyone else is doing is not healthy. It's not what you should be doing. But I'm gonna end this video on that note, and I'll catch you guys later. I don't know when my next spiritual bath is going to be. But I do think I'm going to do more spiritual showers, which I feel like I already do. This is the funny thing. It's like when you already are a spiritual person, right? You do all these things kind of subconsciously, not even thinking about it. Or not like setting an intent to do it. That's the difference between like doing a spiritual bath, because there's a lot of intention going into it and a lot of mindfulness going into it. But I feel like I already practice this already. Like when I take showers, I'm mindful of the scent of my soap, my natural soaps that I use, right? The oils that are in my soaps. I'm mindful of my washcloth, the way it feels on my skin. I'm mindful of how I touch my body, especially my flower, as I'm cleansing myself. So I take my time even in doing that when I shower every day before I head out to where I work at the hospital. I'm taking my time, and I think this is also what I was talking about yesterday. It's like, I get there when I get there, and it's a problem for them, but it's not a problem for me, because listen, my life is my life. You only have one to live, at least in this realm, right? Before you transition to another. So no one can dictate and tell you how to live your life. You live your life how you see fit to live your life. Because when it's all said and done, where are those people going to be at, right? They're going to be doing something else. I definitely live by that philosophy. And I think I made a pact with the universe. And what my spirit guides. They told me, Danielle, it's coming. It's coming. Hold tight. It's coming. In the meantime, stay the course. That's what my spirit guides told me. But listen, anything can change. Anything can change at the drop of a dime. So feel free to share your comments below. If you have experienced a spiritual bath, and maybe your experience was mystical, maybe you had an epiphany, something special happened, feel free to share below. I'd like to hear what you guys have experienced, have went through in your spiritual awakening. Stress is so comfortable. Alright, catch you guys later.